Right then, little change of scenery today. I'm at Carpdell Fisheries at the Cassiobury Farm and Fisheries complex, I think it's called. A friend of mine is a bailiff here, so been given access to one of his exclusive bookings that he's got himself, so which is very nice of him, so thank you, Nick, for that one. Here for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 nights, 4 days. Fishing's been real tough here by all accounts. They've had something in the region of half the amount of fish so far this year as to what they have this time last year, so proper tough at the minute, but then that's the same the world over at the minute, so all we can do is keep our fingers crossed and fish it well and keep our fingers crossed that we actually catch something decent. So without any further ado, let's get the show on the road. Hello and welcome to Carpdell Fisheries. It's a lovely little lake, sort of kidney shaped inside, only a couple of hello and welcome to Carpdell Fisheries. It's a lovely little lake right in the heart of Watford. It's a kidney shape and it's only a couple of acres in size and probably around 6 or 7 foot deep, which is a uniform depth. There's a few hundred carp in here, but typically, as is with all small waters, it has got small water syndrome, so it can be absolutely fickle at times, and I know this year it's been fishing particularly hard, so fingers crossed for a good result this time. And I think between us, if we can nick one fish, that would be brilliant, so keeping our fingers crossed. Let's see how we get on. So Carpdell, like I say, is in the heart of Watford, and it's run on an exclusive basis. So you book the whole lake for you or anything up to 6 anglers for 24-hour period. There's no sort of day ticket as such, so it is always going to be yours for you and the group of people that you're with. And rules you can find on the website. It's a great little place. There's a lodge on site, there's toilets, there's showers, there's a little kitchen inside the lodge. So the facilities are a microwave, a sink, some, a little fridge there as well, so you can store your food and you can ping food, so you're not having to worry too much. Takeaways will deliver to the gate, so it's a very well thought out and run fisheries. The lake itself, like I say, is about maybe an acre and change. I don't think it's quite as big as 2 acres. It's about 6 to 7 foot average. There's not much in the way of features out there, and the fish do tend to sort of hug the margins most of the time. Excuse me. But don't ignore the silt out in the middle. They do like a rummage in the silt, but obviously you'll see the disturbances, the bubbles will come up. It's a spring fed lake, so there is quite a lot of general disturbance caused by that water coming up from the ground. So you will see bubbles and bits and pieces going on, but you'll know the difference. The fish will and can show themselves here quite a lot. At the moment we're here, unfortunately the weather's absolutely dire, the pressure's sky high, and the fish really aren't playing ball. You'd think there was nothing here this week, but there's lots and lots of fish in here. Something in the region of 80 fish in here, they reckon, with an average weight. I reckon the average weight's got to be in the 20s now. So if you do get a run, and you're lucky enough to get a run, there's a very good chance it's going to be a half decent fish with a very, very, very good head of 30s in here as well. So some of the older fish sadly have passed away recently, so a couple of the 40s have died, but don't worry about that. There's plenty fish to go by in here and go for in here. There's some pike in here, so some good winter sport if the carping ain't your thing. There's some great pike in here as well. Yeah, it's just got to say, you just got to work hard for them. It's not going to give up its residents very easy, and stealth and all your little hints and tricks that you've learned along the way can really help you here. I mean, I've gone for the ultra stealthy approach. I've gone for the washing line technique, keeping all your line out the water. So employ all your tactics and try and be as stealthy as possible. Sometimes they like a good bed of bait, sometimes they only like a single hook bait, so choose your spots wisely. choose your bait and approach wisely. Don't forget you can always put more in, you can't take anything out, so don't overdo it in the first instance. Fish a bite and go from there. The fishery itself here is also next to, I think you could probably call it a zoo, like a little mini wild animal park. There's all sorts of things there, and they like to make themselves known at certain times of day, so there's never a dull moment here. The wolves like to howl, and the kookaburra likes to giggle, and what else do you hear here? All the owls, there's got some big owls here. They hoot and toot all night long and early morning, and yeah, it's a proper little character water. It's a cracking little place to come, and yeah, they open up the park probably 4 or 5 times a year to the public, but other than that it is private, so it's private hire, private functions, with the exception of, you know, those open days that they do have. But it's definitely worth coming. You can bring your family here as well and have a great day out in the park when it's open, so keep an eye on their social medias for those dates, and you know, you can purchase tickets from there. Oh, good morning. Uneventful night for me last night. Sorry, I'm just making myself a brew and my morning porridge. I did hear a couple of fish out in this bay, and I have seen a few patches of feeding bubbles in and around the silt this morning. So I've moved one of my rods on a slack line. This is why I keep looking over the camera shoulder to the silted area. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't worry, it's not sugars, it's coffee powder. Where's my lid gone? There it is. I'm sort of half expecting the line to suddenly just sort of tighten up. I think I'll definitely see that before the alarm goes off. But the bubble patches now, since the sun's come up properly, aren't as frequent, so I don't know where they've gone. What they like to do here in previous visits is flick between one end of the lake and the next. It's only 100 yards, and they'll do that many times a day. They like to hold up in this corner along the far margin, and where one of my washing lines is, during sort of the hotter parts of the day and first thing in the morning. And then the other side of the lake, I think it's a swim called the World's End, I think, during the day and early evening. But also I think that depends sometimes on the weather as well. But not having a lot to go on and only having 1 or 2 fish, or the same fish twice, jump this morning, or early hours of this morning, it's very difficult to really see where they want to hold up. But I'm sure over the next day or two we'll figure it out a little bit. If they start to be a bit more active, and then we can adjust accordingly. But at the moment things have been very quiet. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 of us on, so, and we're all doing something slightly different. So I'd like to think between all of us, one of us would catch something. But there we go, keeping our fingers crossed. Now there's something you don't see every day. There's a stegosaurus with a little baby. Right then, so bedtime now on the last night, and it's been a real struggle. I mean, the weather has been, where's my phone? The weather has been horrific. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's been great if you wanted to go out and enjoy yourself for the day, but not great for fishing. So we've been in the low 20s temperature wise, but the pressure's been up sort of 1020s, 1023, 1025. So as of now it is falling, and doesn't hit below the line until sort of midday tomorrow, but I'll be gone by then, unfortunately. And then we get a bit of low pressure, still in the 10s, but you know, 1009, 1008, 1009 for the next two days after that, but still that's below that line. So you know, the next group on, I'm not quite sure when they're on, should be all right for certainly the next night or two after we're done. But for us now, we have thrown the absolute kitchen sink at them. We are running out of options, really. I think I'm on my 6th or 8th different area now. I've had 2 areas where I've kept my right hand rod and my middle rod. I've kept the same, and then my left hand rod, I've been roving around different techniques, zigs, different colours, different depths, different areas, little bait, no bait, single hook baits, pop-ups, bottom baits, combos, different rigs, you know, anything to sort of try and nick that single bait. You know, if it is the way they're feeding, is the rig working, and yeah, all sorts. Now I found a little hard spot literally just underneath my rod tip here. Not expecting anything overnight there. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the morning. I mean, that really is not one wrap out, no, not 12 foot out from the bank. It literally is under my rod tip. So my left hand rod now has become my right hand rod, and I've moved everything across now. So all I can do now is keep my fingers crossed. I can do no more. So I'm packed away mostly now, just got my essentials out, ready to go. I've done a few trips to the van, and I've got that blowout on my rear tyre of my barrow, which is karma for you. I shouldn't have given my mate such grief for having a blowout on his power wheel on his barrow a couple of weeks ago. So that, yeah, that's come around to bite me in the arse now, and I've got a blowout on my rear tyre, so it's not so bad, but it's still a bit of a pain if you can, you know, trying to get your barrow to your gear to, trying to barrow your gear back to the van. So I'm going to see if it will blow up and stay blown up even for a short period, just to help me back to the van, but I'm not holding much hope. It's practically hanging off the tyre, so we shall see. Anyway, bedtime for me, exhausted, struggling to speak, and hopefully in the morning we should be able to have a last ditch effort of catching something, but not holding out any hope. Not seen much, not heard much, so they've just gone to ground, I think, and just waiting for that right time for the weather. So it's not our time, sadly. $18.6. Yeah. I said it was going to be close. Look up a bit. Keep on here, go on. There's a wind there as well. Been through the wars, this old one. Been through the wars. Oops. In a very bizarre turn of events, this is the fish I lost at 4 o'clock this morning. Yeah. And it's picked up my other lines that I just put out. And oops, it's a bit angry. Show the other side. And I've got the fish all the way to the net, and then suddenly it starts to feel very graty and a bit weird. And my friend was with me, and I told him I'd lost a fish, and he joked and he said, "Oh, I but that's that fish you lost. And I was like, no way, it can't be. I wound in too much line, there's no way that's going to be caught under the rod tip. Well, I got it in the net and suddenly there's this other line wrapped around it, and I look, but that's my rig in its mouth. Well, yes, it was my rig in its mouth, but my rig that was attached to the rod was caught around something else, and it winched in this, I don't know, mud weight of some sort on a chain. So no wonder why it felt a bit peculiar, and it was that will probably broke me off. So quite pleased.
18th century mace.
This gnarly looking thing. So yeah, some sort of rake or mud weight or medieval torturing device, not quite sure. But yeah, glad to have got that out of the lake at least anyway. And now we know the fish isn't trailing as well. So all in all, a good adventure. And thankfully, after all that stress and effort and everything else, it's all paid off. So well happy. And that is it. That is all she wrote. Just waiting for the code to get out now, and I'm on my way home. So just managed one for myself, that little 18-pounder you saw. Nick and the Dying Death managed one after I just put that one back. That was 20, I think that was 20-pound dead, one of the stockies, little fully scaled, beautiful looking fish. And then there was a 25-pounder he had shortly after that, I think the same rod actually. Not quite sure what fish that was, but didn't get a chance to see that one sadly. But yeah, that pressure drop really did make a difference. I think it gone from 10, 20 something rather sky high, all the way down to under 10, 1008, 1009, something like that I think it went down to. So yeah, that went down below that magic line, and it really has made a difference. That the water looks different, it seems to be behaving differently now. You can start seeing fish moving around, and they're crashing and cruising a little bit more frequently now. So yeah, I think Nick's going to stay one more night, and I can't say I blame him. But anyway, time for me to get home. See you next time.